There seems to be quite a bit of secrets spread throughout Dying Light 2, most of which have been found, and some, well, not so much. Welcome to the Dying Light 2 Iceberg Explained. The gun location is a heavily discussed topic in Dying Light 2. Even Techland gave us clues that there could be a gun hidden somewhere in the game. There is a voicemail stating someone hid a gun in a locker labeled Council of Mankind. That's the farthest we got to locating the gun in Dying Light 2. Currently there has been no found gun location in the game. Maybe it will be found further down the line. Elysium is shrouded in conflicting thoughts. Most people seem to think that it's never going to be added to the game, as that's what Techland announced. But there are still people, myself included, that do believe Elysium is coming to Dying Light 2 in a future DLC. They tease the thought of going to Elysium in the next DLC, as the Opera House is located in Elysium, which makes one believe we could be getting Elysium in an upcoming DLC, even though Techland stated that it wouldn't be coming to Dying Light 2 in the future. But only time will tell. The graphic decrease isn't anything too crazy, but it's noticeably worse than Dying Light 1. The reason for this is because how much the world is saturated around you. Techland solved this problem by adding a dark and gritty filter to the game that can be applied in the settings. Applying the filter makes the game look just as good as the original Dying Light. It makes you wonder, why did they go for such a bright theme in the second game in the first place? The KOREK machete is something that everyone wants to locate in the game of Dying Light 2. Techland confirmed the KOREK machete was in the game, however, it still was yet to be found but was located in the game files. Recently, in the new Bloody Ties DLC, they gave us the ability to find the KOREK machete blueprint. It seems that they were just waiting to release this weapon in the new DLC. Be the Zombie was something we all expected if you played the first game. For some reason, Techland came to the decision to not have Be the Zombie in Dying Light 2. The weird thing is that there's all of the Be the Zombie mechanics built into the game. We see this in the storyline multiple times when you start just absolutely whooping everything in your path. It really makes you wonder. The chicken is something we all probably remember. It was part of the quest to get the Pan of Destiny. At the end, right before the chicken goes into space, it mentions it can't take us with this time, but when he sees us again, they will take us with. It almost makes it seem that there is another chicken lost out there in the world all alone, or maybe it'll be coming in a future DLC, or he left us here, in this wasteland. Repeat room assets is pretty self-explanatory. Techland seems to use the same room assets all over the place throughout the game, making it feel like we have been somewhere even if we haven't. We even saw this in Update 2 when they added the Hag missions. When you get to the end of one of the Hag missions, it takes you to the Hag Hive, but this place is all too familiar. This location is almost an exact replica of the computer room in the observatory. They really need to add some diversity to the game. Techland showed us some great looking gameplay footage of Dying Light 2 at E3 in 2019. Sadly, they have seemed to cut out a bit of the content in the public release of the game. There were animations that are no longer present, the UI is different, and a bunch of parkour moves are missing from what they showcased. The whole atmosphere just feels different, but modders have added all of the E3 content back into the game, and it's really enjoyable. It really makes no sense that Techland decided to remove all of this content. There are a ton of references to Crane from Dying Light 1 in the game of Dying Light 2. In fact, in the location that you get the triple jump Mario shoes, you can actually listen to a dialogue with Crane speaking. You can also overhear some NPCs talking about him around Villedor. He's almost like a legend. It really makes you wonder if he could make a reappearance in the game in a future update. The Zombie Mia ending seems to be an entirely cut fight from the public release of Dying Light 2. At the end of the game, you finally find Mia, but she's in rough shape, and it doesn't seem like she's gonna make it. On the other hand, Techland had a version of the ending where you would run into Mia and she would be in great health but also seem to be a zombie. You would have to fight her just as you would have fought Waltz at the end of the game. I wonder why they cut out this epic ending. There are characters from Dying Light 1 that show up on a missing persons poster. They reference Brecken as well as Tolga and Fatine. If you played Dying Light 1, the reference to these characters being missing is all too real, although Tolga and Fatine aren't technically missing and can be heard on the radio. If you go to the area of St. Paul Island's power plant, you can find a radio at the top of the building. At least they seem to be in good health. Sadly, the rest are missing, never to be found. There are a few animals that seem to have very high intelligence in Dying Light 2. In fact, there seems to be a lost goat somewhere in Villedor. If you go to the Bazaar and walk up to the message board, there is a note from a goat. The note reads as follows: "I've lost my owner," with a hoof print signed goat. Maybe the goat would have given us a similar quest to the chicken, or maybe there really is just an intelligent goat out there looking for its owner, lost and all alone. While I was playing Dying Light 2, I noticed at some point a blood spot appeared on my map over a quest location. Once I completed the quest, the blood spot disappeared. After that, I noticed a bunch of different color spots showed up on my map. There were yellow, red, blue, and black spots that I've seen so far. Who knows what they could mean? There is a map in Dying Light 2 that shows a metro area. At first glance, the map doesn't seem all too interesting until you take a closer look and notice the circles and arrows stating to check this area. Also, looking at the map, you can find street names. After exploring the map of Villedor extensively, I was unable to find the streets that were present on the map, which drew me to the conclusion that it had to be coming in a future DLC. We can only wait and see. There is an NPC that disappears and reappears as a different NPC. This NPC is on the boat out of the map and it's just sitting on the edge of a shipping container. Going below the NPC makes the NPC disappear. The weird thing is that all other NPCs are still visible. Also, going back up to the container, the NPC either changes or is absent from the space. I really wonder where this NPC could be running off to. The map in LEWANS room is full of different arrows and locations. There seems to maybe be something hidden at least one of the locations shown on the map. Looking around at the different marked locations, I couldn't find anything at all. Maybe LEWAN already finished her business. In the prologue, there is a map that shows different frequencies as locations. The map only exists in the prologue right behind the radio. Looking at the map, there are a bunch of different arrows and marks showing different locations. One of the most interesting locations on the map is the X right below Old Villedor. This area is completely surrounded by chemicals but had a single spot without chemicals, almost in the exact location of the X on the map. Seems almost intentional. One of the weirdest things in Dying Light 2 is a QR code. There is a QR code in Dying Light 2 that has changed since the release of the game. If you look on the Villedor city map in the top left corner, there is a really damaged QR code and a blue box. The blue box looks like it may have had words in it, but is currently unreadable. The weird thing is, this wasn't always the case. Back at the release of Dying Light 2, this QR code was not damaged and the blue box stated, "Download official free guide." The QR code was not scannable at the time, and they decided to make it completely impossible to read now. I tried to make the QR code pixel by pixel, but it still didn't work. I'm not sure why they put a QR code in the game that didn't work in the first place, then decide to just completely remove it. It really makes you wonder, what could they be trying to hide? There is an entity that hasn't been found anywhere else in the game of Dying Light 2 besides the prologue. If you go to the point where the floor falls down below you and makes it impossible to make it to the other end of the hallway, but instead you make the jump, you will notice that you will start being hit by what seems to be arrows from the other end of the hallway. Taking a closer look at the arrows, you will notice they actually look like darts. Also, the entity throwing the darts is non-existent. Even going to the other end of the hallway after the floor falls, it still throws darts at you and is completely invisible. This is honestly very interesting. The debug zombie is a zombie that seems to be stuck outside of the map. If you go to the road behind the observatory, you will notice at the end is a zombie. Hitting the zombie with anything is almost an instant death for the zombie. Also, the zombie can't follow you past a certain point. It's almost as if there's an invisible wall holding it back. Who knows what this zombie is even doing out here? There is an NPC in Dying Light 2 that seems oddly familiar, but yet I can't seem to find them anywhere. This is the unused NPC in Dying Light 2. So I was exploring around in Dying Light 2 and decided I would investigate the prologue a little closer. I noticed as I went to the area that taught you the fighting mechanics, there were 3 NPCs in the T-pose position. All 3 NPCs are identical, and when looking at their lifeless bodies, they seem oddly familiar. One of the weirdest things about these NPCs is that they actually disappear after a certain period of time. After finding this unused NPC, I knew I wanted to see if I could find them in-game. I explored the rest of the prologue thoroughly as well as the base game, but couldn't find this NPC anywhere. They seem to be just left here, forgotten, to be lost to time. There is a reference with a certain paraglider in Dying Light 2 that while wearing it, it states "look up." It also has a blood moon and a Big Dipper made out of stars on it. Looking up at night, you can actually see what looks to be the Big Dipper if you look hard enough. I traced it on screen so you could see it as well. This is a cool hidden reference to our astrology. I wonder about that blood moon though. There is a note in Dying Light 2 that shows just how aware the people in Villedor must be to what is actually going on. If you come to the Bazaar, you will see a message board that says "Info Board, the latest and hottest." On that message board, there is a note that states, "All of this is fake. They watch us. There is real life behind walls." It makes this game seem all too real, almost as though the NPCs are conscious of us watching them suffer. It really makes you want to second guess your decisions in the game. It's almost as if they know, this is all fake. Well, this was my personal Iceberg for Dying Light 2, as there wasn't any made for it yet. So I decided I would do my best at making an iceberg for this game. This video has been in the works for the past couple of weeks and I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Please let me know in the comments section down below if you want to see more videos like this. I really enjoy doing this type of concept and I plan on moving to other games other than Dying Light 2 in the future. I also have a channel I go live on occasionally, so if you want to watch me live, click the link in the description. I have a music channel as well, so if you like the music in the background, go check out my music channel. I'll be posting my new instrumental there very soon. Also, join my Discord in the description as well. Well anyway, I hope y'all did enjoy this video. It was a lot of fun to make. I have more on the way, so you'll want to stay tuned for that, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.